Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg. And Hank, happy weekend, man. You just hit everything. You won the basketball. You had it all.
I went 4 for 4 on the Saturday games. Or was it? Yeah, it was the Saturday games. I had and my one team that I took 8-1 on, Orlando, won outright in their first game. They don't play again until Tuesday, but I think I got a real shot with them. They're a heck of a team, very well coached. Remember, they were 23-9 at the end of the season. They had the best record in the NBA.
Wow. Yeah, you were right about them, that's for sure. And Toronto just keep doing it every year. In the first game, they always just fall apart.
Well, in the first series, they fall apart.
Yeah, that's right. It's. I mean,
one surprise to me was Oklahoma City, although they came back in the game, but that was the only game I lost. Them and DeGrom were the biggest surprises I had yesterday.
Well, the Oklahoma City, George had not shot very much until that day, and he was a little bit sore and stiff and a little cold. And I listened to the interview after the game, and he missed everything. But
he had a bad shoulder that he was a little questionable going into the game.
Right. He'll, if the shoulder loosens up for him, they should be a lot better going forward. And of course, Portland is, they're a little short-handed, but they picked up the one guy, and he really filled in. He had 20 points. Can't remember the name. I'm losing the name. But Lillard, McCollum, and oh God, what's his name? Anyway, they put those three guys together on the floor, and they did pretty well in the game. But without George hitting anything like he did, it was still a close game. It's still they
were down 20 points, and they came back.
That's right.
Close to within one, but they just ran out of gas.
That's true. And the Masters was absolutely incredible. I love golf, and I love watching golf. And when I was physically able, I played a lot of golf. But that was incredible. And a lot of people were in contention, but Tiger just had that look, and he just hitting the shots. And people can say what they want to do, or what they want about it. He was the only guy to get as deep as 14 under. And at one point, nobody got that far. So, I mean, he held on. He got it down the end. Right at the end, he was there. The other guys just didn't.
Well, I think Molinari got to 14 under, and then he fell apart. He was at 14 under at one point.
I thought it was only 13.
Wasn't he?
I thought it was 13, but I could be wrong. I thought that shot he hit on 15 in the water, and of course Finau did the same thing.
He went in the water twice.
I know he did. It's tough playing with Tiger. Tiger puts a lot of pressure on you. There's a lot of people. They're all rooting for one guy, and it's tough to beat him. He just doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I mean, even though he's a little advanced in age.
Well, going into yesterday, he had problems with the 5 and 6 foot putts that he couldn't sink, and I thought that was going to be his undoing. But he was making the long putts, and his putter didn't betray him, and that was the difference between Tiger yesterday and Tiger previously.
Yeah, that's true. He's got his 15th major win. I imagine he's still going to go after Jack with the 18. He always wanted to do that one thing. He always wanted to have more major wins than Jack had.
Yeah, well, let's not get carried away. There's a lot of great young players out there who who are capable.
They are capable. You know, all the great young players you have out there, and they're all good, and they all can do it, week to week, day to day. But we haven't seen anybody like Taggart when he came out and just dominated the sport, 15 years ago.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't think he can dominate the sport again. You
No,
got guys who
not,
can really play.
Not at his age. No, that won't happen. No. But and there's too many good players now for anybody to dominate the sport. It's tough.
I mean, Koepka is a hell of a player. He's won two. He's won two majors already, and he was right there.
He's the master of the majors. I mean, this guy, he was right there. He slipped a little bit, but he was right there. And, DJ Dustin Johnson, he put on a big run at the end, and he was right there as well. A little bit flat on day 3, but he came back at the end of day 4 and made a hell of a run. So did Fowler. I mean, there were so many. Cantlay went and he was in the lead for a hole and he slipped. And that was a big surprise. I had a lot of tickets. I did not have Taggart, but I'm glad he won. It's good for the sport, and it's good for him, and it's nice to see the comeback. It's great. And the Masters is just a special week when that happens.
I was still rooting for Koepka at 23-1. I don't care about the sport. I wanted to win.
All right, I have this soft spot in my heart for the sport, but I was surprised they were talking about it. There's an increase in golfers, but over 300,000, and this is unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I guess it's worldwide. Courses have closed because of the length that's required now, and they don't have enough real estate. And that's one of the problems with the long ball. That's a golf issue, and they had a lot of comments about that. The equipment and the ball just goes too far, and they're hitting 350-yard drives consistently. I can't hit the ball 350 yards if I hit it twice. Anyway, we got some baseball. We got hoops. That's what we got now. We got the NBA rocking and rolling in the playoffs, which we were waiting for, and we're happy they're here. And then we got baseball, and Kershaw is going to make a start tonight. And I don't know, the expectations might be a little too high for him right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Dodgers have not been playing all that great last week. Arizona took care of them, and I don't know. It's tough to predict what's going on with baseball right now. With DeGrom losing 2 games in a row, the Houston Seattle series has been kind of tough to project. Yankees have another guy on the injured list now. I think they've got 4 starters out. They're in tough shape. Red Sox aren't playing well. Tough to project what's going on in baseball.
Well, it is only April, and that, the inconsistencies of this month, beginning of the baseball season, pretty standard. We will see some. The good thing about it is, if you like upsets, Castillo could take down Kershaw tonight. I mean, Cincinnati's, the Castillo's pitched very well. Kershaw is coming out of the box right now. Richards could take down the Cubs at Miami. That's a good possibility. Shoemaker's pitching very well. He's going against Perez, who's getting his first start. Toronto's not much of a team, 5-11 on the season, but Shoemaker's been pitching absolutely outstanding. And the Cleveland Indians are not much of a hitting club. They're not hitting the ball very well. They're 8-7 in the season, and Seattle's coming off a rough series. And Kikuchi is, I hope I say that right, for Seattle, young pitcher, left-hander. He looks like he has a lot of promise going against Bauer tonight. You're taking a small price at home with Seattle. I like that. I like to bet underdogs mostly. I certainly don't like to lay big prices in baseball, so I spread the money around on the dogs and play first 5 innings and things like that, and of course totals. But there's a lot of good stuff out there tonight.
I just the Yankees have been killed with injuries. I haven't seen anything like that, where they've had to bring up a minor league catcher to start. When losing their catcher is a huge blow, and he joins 3 other guys on the injured list. I mean, that's unheard of at this time of year.
It is, and you mentioned the catcher. Sanchez was hitting the ball really well, and he had a bad year last year. He's coming off and doing very well this year, and then he gets hurt. I don't know. Maybe I know there's a lot of injuries, but there's been a lot of bad weather, cold weather. That doesn't help. There's always going to be more injuries in bad weather with the cold, and you're not able to warm up, and you get more pulls and hamstrings and shoulders, et cetera, et cetera. That could be part of the problem, but it's unfortunate. But it's a long season. To get into the summer, Yankees will be there. They're not going away. Right now, it's a little rough.
Today is Patriots Day. It's a great tradition in Boston. They run the Boston Marathon, and the Red Sox will play a morning game, I guess. And that's a big day in Boston. The Boston Marathon is always a wonderful experience for that city. That's going on, and then you got the hockey playoffs going on too, and a lot of teams got off to 2-0 starts in those Stanley Cup playoffs, the early rounds. Teams got off to really good starts, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean,
Pittsburgh's down 2-0 already.
Yeah, they are. No, that's Pittsburgh. Yes, you're right. You're right. We had an 8:00 game this morning. Baltimore at Boston. Baltimore's up 1-0.
That's what I said. That's Patriots Day. That's a tradition. They play a morning game in Boston.
Morning. That's like for us. That's like in the middle of the night. I ran the Boston Marathon back in '95. I think it was. It was quite an experience. I'm really glad I did. It's a tough race. Lots of hills. Heartbreak Hill is not one hill. It's 3 hills. And people don't know that unless they ran it. But it was quite an experience. I think it was 1995 I did that. One of the many marathons and half marathons that I ran in my life. But it was a lot of fun. 1 million people lining the streets and bands, and it's incredible. Incredible event, and they do it very well. I hope that there's no more disasters like we had a few years ago with those terrorists, and I hope it goes off smoothly. And good luck to all the runners. It's like you said, it's a big day in Boston. Big day. Anyway, Hank, anything else you want to cover today?
Well, Richard Mandela, who has never won a Kentucky Derby, has a good horse who won the Arkansas Derby. The Kentucky Derby field is now set, and the Mandela horse, a lot of people think he can win. Bob Baffert, who watched that horse train, likes him a lot, respects him a lot. And so you've got Bill Mott, who's never won a Kentucky Derby, with Tacitus, and now you got the Mandela horse in there. and they're saying, well, the Mandela horse really moves up the charts off that win. But it was a very sloppy track in Arkansas. They had a lot of rain there. And that horse had won off the sloppy track previously out in California. And so I'm not so sure that I have a lot of faith in a win off a sloppy track, although it was a very impressive win. And they beat Improbable, who Baffert's horses keep running second. And Roadster, who won the Santa Anita Derby, who beat the other Baffert horse there. The other Baffert horse in that race, who was the second favorite right now for the Derby, the people who really know their stuff say that he ran twice as far as Roadster did, and that's what contributed to Roadster's win. So don't write him off. And, you got a lot of live horses going forward. And there are two foreign horses who get in based on the new rules. So there's some very good 3-year-olds who didn't qualify for the Kentucky Derby, who are good runners, who are now probably going to train up to the Preakness. And the Preakness could be a very competitive race this year. One of the best, more competitive Preaknesses they've had in years.
Yeah, you get those horses that run in the Derby, and then a couple weeks later running the Preakness against fresh horses, and that are good horses. It makes it a little tougher.
Well, this year they're better. This year they're better than they were in the past because of that rule. And there are a lot of good 3-year-olds this year. And Kentucky Derby might be tough to handicap this year, tougher than usual. I don't think there's any justifieds out there. And so, but there are horses who who narrowly missed based on points, who could compete against these horses, who are the top-rated horses that are out there. So there's more possibility for tough competition waiting for the winner of the Kentucky Derby.
Very interesting. It's good stuff, Hank, as usual. And you did have an exacta hit this weekend, but it wasn't a big payoff, but it was still, you still booked the winner on that, which is great.
Well, I've hit 3 exactas in 2 weeks. So that's not too bad. One of them paid $45. So you're still seeing a profit.
Wow. You're talking about a profit, there was a lot of money bet on the Masters to switch sports again, but there was one guy that walked into William Hill and put down an $85,000 wager on Woods to win it at 14-1. He cashed in $1.190 million. $1,190,000. That was a hell of a bet.
Yep.
They don't talk about the ones that lose, but that was a good bet. Good for him. All right, Hank, thank you much. Enjoy your day. We'll talk again Wednesday.
All right, Jim. Take care.
Take care, buddy.